Wit and Whimsy. I'm so excited this is here because what this means is essentially you cared enough about my work and really doing more learny, crazy things like this to help fund it, and that's why this is here today. So all thanks to the beautiful people on my Patreon who made this happen, because you guys are awesome. So today, since this is the first Wit and Whimsy in like forever, I've had multiple questions from beautiful viewers like you about how I started vlogging and some tips and whatnot. I'm by no means an expert. This is Vlogging 101 according to Wit and Whimsy. Blah, blah, blah. And to help me with this beautiful project is my lovely, lovely friend Jillian. Come on, Jillian. Internet, Jillian, that's the internet. Wave hi. They're very nice. They don't bite often, at least until you wander into that part of Reddit. Don't wander into that part of Reddit. You're 13. And taller than me. Look at this. This is not fair. Let's begin. Okay, before you even start worrying about equipment and all of that jazz, you have to figure out what you want to vlog about.
Video games.
Always a popular choice.
Those are like anime stuff.
Personally, I didn't want to pick one thing because I am more than one thing, but one of my biggest passions is learning, which is where Wit and Whimsy came from. Oh, obviously curiosity as well. Wit and Whimsy, which became curiosity, but a sort of sect of curiosity, and one day they will merge again together and become this thing. Amoeba. Boop. One of those other important existential sort of questions you should be asking yourself is, why do you want to vlog?
Since at school, in my old school, I was like known for like entertaining and making people smile and stuff.
Aha. So one great thing about the internet is it gives us lots of venues in order to create new kinds of entertainment like web shows, and YouTube has sort of become like our own personal version of talk shows, but way less boring. And the final question, well, probably not the other final question, there are probably other questions you want to ask yourself, but the three big ones. How do you want to vlog? Some people choose to vlog as themselves. Other people don't want to get stabbed by some random internet person, so they use aliases. I don't know what I'm doing! That's the real point. No one who vlogs actually knows what they're doing. Right, equally important. Why are you standing off to the side?
Because it's that awkward.
You have to decide if you want to script or completely ad-lib the thing. Personally, I run off of outlines. Outlines are my favorite thing in the world just because I want to make sure there are certain points I touch on, especially with curiosities. It's extremely important. Oh, and Whimsy's obviously. I need outlines. They keep you on track. They make sure that you don't get to the editing process and be like, oh, did I really not even record that? Well, crap, I thought I did. So, super important. All right, we got all the boring stuff out of the way.
Yay.
Let's get down to what you actually need. In regards to equipment, obviously you need a camera. You're going to want to look for something that's HD. 720p is okay, but ideally you want to go for something that records in 1080. And honestly, 1080 HD is not hard to find. My iPhone, this sucker records in 1080p. So this might be the first place you want to look at what your capabilities in a recording capacity are. My next recommendation, honestly, if you're just getting into vlogging, would be a webcam. Webcams unfortunately limit where you can vlog, but they're usually a lot cheaper. I have a Canon Vixia HF-S20. Buy it new, it's about $1,600, but I believe if you buy it used or refurbished, it's only about like 1/3 that. The only reason I started with equipment that is as nice as it is I inherited all of this. If you are just starting vlogging, do not go out to the store and buy a bunch of newfangled things. I also don't recommend you get your equipment the way I got my equipment. It's very sad. Secondly, you are going to need a recording space because you can't record in a vacuum. You need some sort of environment. And there are some things you want to consider. We're in a big open space and you can hear that with the sound that's going on. It's going to be kind of echoey and whatnot. Normally I would use my microphone for this, but I didn't want to. You're also going to want to pick a space where your background is fairly non-distracting because the focus should be you. Colorful, like, have books. Books are awesome, but make sure it's not so jumbled and jarring that you kind of get lost in all of it. I'm a giant fan of color and consistency, so I have fabric that I bring around with me and I just tack up on the wall. If you do this route, however, I recommend you get something that's a little less prone to wrinkling. So you might want to go for something more like a linen. The lights I use are these clamp lights. This is like 500 watts, so during any film shoot I do, I have about 1,000 watts of light on me. They are very hot. These are not ideal, but these are what I inherited, so they work for me because free is awesome. Diffusing umbrellas are very important because you don't want your light to be too harsh on your face, especially when you are pale like me. Important random note, my friend Jillian has glasses on, which is kind of okay from what I can tell. However, you're really going to, if you want to wear glasses, you need to wear frames and contacts or things that don't glare, because especially with your well-lit areas, you're gonna get some glare, and then you're gonna kind of look like those anime characters that don't actually have eyes, they just have glowing glasses. Try to talk to your camera, and basically, because you're talking to your audience, not really talking to a camera, but it is weird to be like, one of the really important things when vlogging is to be natural and be yourself. It really doesn't matter what you vlog about, as long as you're genuine about it. One of the ways you can do it is have one of your friends or someone that you have a really easy time talking to stand right behind the camera, and then that way you can sort of practice talking to them. Like I can say, "Hi Ren, how are you doing?" And we're gonna talk about science today and how awesome was Cosmos last night!
It was really epic.
Oh my gosh!
Did I tell you?
Yes!
It was awesome.
But seriously, Ren, who you can't see because he's behind the camera right now.
Trust me, it's better that way.
We'll get on a tangent and we'll just keep going and going and going, and we feed off of each other's energy. That's kind of what you need for vlogging, but the one problem is when you're vlogging, you are talking to a camera, and it's kind of hard to start on your own and keep that energy going. So if you start with like a friend behind the camera, it's a good place to start, and it helps you get sort of a nice repertoire of just getting used to, okay, this camera is going to be how I talk to my friend. Now the most important part of all, once you have your topic, you have your setting, you filmed it with your beautiful equipment, and it sounds and looks beautiful and fantastic. Editing? Editing! 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 Editing is so important. I don't care how beautiful and brilliant and fantastic and amazing and wonderful you are, no one wants to watch you say and stare into space for 10 minutes. No one. You would be shocked and amazed how close you can edit things together. Zoom in as much as you can and go, there's dead space, boom. As long as it is still intelligible, by all means, cut it that close. Pauses should be used how like pauses are used in Pinter plays. I don't mean excessively, I mean with a point. Because the last thing you want is don't do that! Unless, of course, for like comedic and or educational purposes. Ooh, which brings me to another point. Length. You cut it down as much as you can because the internet attention span is usually maybe 5 minutes unless they know who you are and really care about what you're doing. Which means you need to cut down all of that into something very concise, something very fast-paced, moving, and if it is more than 5 minutes, you need to make it feel like it isn't. It needs to be the big bowl of popcorn you brought into the movie theater that's gone somehow by like the first 10 minutes. Gone. I break this rule constantly, but I'm still learning. Cut out the ums, cut out the dead space, cut out that string of profanity you don't want your mom stumbling across when she finally finds your videos. Sorry, Mom. And in the realm of editing programs, I know there are a few free programs out there, but honestly guys, I like Adobe Premiere. I learned on it. I have since then invested in Adobe Cloud, which is actually only about $50 a month, and you get access to all of the Adobe programs. I really enjoy it, and now that I've started to get the hang of it, I can work my way around it. And I'm still learning things with both that and After Effects. I have access to After Effects thanks to Adobe Cloud, and that's awesome because not only can I edit my videos together, I can make weird filters, and if you saw my Valentine's Day video, all of that, all of the old movie effect, that was completely made through internet tutorials and After Effects, and it was awesome and so much fun. I'm really excited to learn about this, and as we keep going through Wit and Whimsies every month, I may occasionally make one just about, hey, I learned this cool new thing with vlogging or video editing, and then I'll share that with you, probably in a much smaller, compact video. But I'm really excited to go on this journey with you guys and share with you all the fantastic things I'm learning with this, because this really is the wild, wild west of entertainment. If you have ideas of what you want to learn about for the next one, I owe you guys 2 for this month, since I was on vacation pretty much all of last month. Leave it in the comments. I'd love some ideas on what you guys want to learn more about. I'll see you next chapter!